Hey guys, I'm James, and this is my new to me 1994 Toyota Supra. And it's only made my problem worse.
In my search to complete my Supra, I stumbled upon a deal I couldn't resist.
Oh, so excited. I can't wait.
But this solution quickly spiraled into something completely unexpected. You are not going to believe what happened. If you watch my last video, the Supra I've owned for nearly a decade, although looking nearly finished, is missing a heap of stuff. And the simplest, most logical, financially sensible thing to do in my mind is
I need to buy another car.
Or at least that's what I thought was a good idea.
Let me catch you up to speed on how I got myself in this mess.
I'm going to start with an obvious statement. The word cheap and Supra don't often get put in the same sentence these days. They are becoming rare and often pricey. Holy shit. And it doesn't matter whether you live in the US, UK, or where I'm from, Australia. Finding a Supra on a budget is not going to be easy, especially because my budget is $30K. So where to begin? Well, if you're anything like me, step one is easy. Scour the internet.
This is the bit I like.
And personally, I like to start with a website I'm probably not going to buy from. Car sales. Now, there is nothing wrong with car sales itself. It's a great place to buy cars from in Australia. My problem is, I don't need a roadworthy registered car. I need a donor car, and preferably with parts I don't have, and maybe some to sell on and make some money back.
$4,000 just for that. Jeez.
I use car sales for the most part to give me a good sense of where the market's at.
Oh my god, they want $95,500 for an NA.
Say someone is selling this example and I find a comparable one for cheap. It makes me feel better about spending the cash. And if my wife inquires about the money I spent, I can just show her how good the deal was.
I swear it was a good deal.
After car sales, I scoured eBay, Gumtree, auction sites, and come up dry. But then I hit Facebook Marketplace, which in my opinion is quickly becoming the go-to for project cars and parts. So now we have some cars closer to our budget. It's time to go check them out and see if we can make a deal.
This is my good old trusty Orion.
Now I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This part was the most time consuming. I travelled all over the place trying to find the right car at the right price.
This traffic is hectic. It's going to take me over an hour to get home.
I even risked my life going to some well-known dodgy places.
Broadmeadows train station, the most likely place to get stabbed in Melbourne.
But despite the effort, most cars were either too expensive or didn't meet my needs, until I saw this car for $37K.
Okay. I know I said the budget was $30K, but this was a deal too good to pass up. Because just last week, it was priced at $47,000. And that's because, ladies and gentlemen, it has a turbo conversion. I had to go see it.
I messaged the owner, made a time, and got going. But on the way there, I got this message, telling me I won't be able to test drive the car.
Yeah, wish me luck. Let's see how we go.
I get there, and the owner tells me there is more bad news. It doesn't run due to a flat battery. I suggested we get a jump pack. He tells me he doesn't have one and wasn't prepared to jump it. So here I am, after driving for an hour, standing in a dimly lit garage with a car that doesn't run, and with a seller who is not keen to show it off. I thought, this guy is hiding something. I lost interest pretty quickly, thanked the guy, and started to leave. But before I left, he posed a question to me. What would you offer me? I had a quick think. Admittedly, I was pretty frustrated that I had to do a 2-hour round trip to look at a car which didn't run and deal with a seller who didn't seem to care. So I said, if I cannot see it running, I will assume it doesn't. And my best offer would be $30K. And then I left. By this stage, I had invested a substantial amount of time and effort into trying to find a Supra and had zero to show for it. In fact, I had started this hunt on the 21st of August 2023, nearly a year ago, And honestly, I was close to giving up.
But there's one thing you should know about me. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life and have failed more times than most. And it often feels like I have to work harder to achieve what comes easy to others. But if there's one thing that I excel at, it's perseverance. And when I want something, I don't quit.
So what happens next, you ask? Well, I took a few deep breaths, waited until the next day, and texted the guy back. He said, "Hey mate, I've been thinking it over and I was wondering if there was potential to come up a bit if you see it running." I said, "Of course." I heard nothing for a while. Then I received this message. "Are you willing to grab it today?" I replied quickly, "Yes." Then nothing for a while before he messaged me back. "The price is definitely lower than I wanted, but if it's gone before I think too much about it, then I can't really do much but regret later. So if you grab it today, I'll take the 30. I saw this message and was certain there had to be something majorly wrong with this car. Despite this, everything else looked okay. So I called my regular tow truck driver, met him there,
Let's just find somewhere to park.
and sealed the deal. We loaded the car on the tilt tray
The old trick to get lowered cars up, Jeff?
and made our way back to the shop.
So here we are. I bought a car that I haven't seen run and I believe has a few major issues. But before I show you what's wrong with it, I just want to show you around the car because this car is in really good condition.
Just a disclaimer, I have obviously looked at this car prior to doing this video, but I purposely didn't look too hard because I wanted to leave a lot of things so we can find them together. And what I found was very surprising. But I'll show you the bad things first.
You know, there's a few chips here from getting in and out of the car, which is not a big deal. These wheels are off a Lexus, I want to say IS350, I think. I'm not sure. They look okay. It wouldn't have been my choice. Front of it's pretty clean. There's a few marks like this where I think someone's put pressure on it and it cracks, or maybe just old age.
Yep, probably just old age. There's a few cracks on me too.
There's a few extra holes here that aren't too nice, but that's okay. It's missing a bit of paint here. The headlights, I mean, that's really common for them to get moisture inside, but that can be fixed.
I'm really glad they're not oxidized like a lot of them get, because once they get bad on the inside, as far as I know, there's not much you can do about it. These ones just need to be resealed.
The other common thing is with the dash on Supras, they start to lift, especially this point here.
I don't know why this happens, but every Supra, at least that I've ever seen, has the same problem.
But there's no cracks in it, which is the most important thing. So yeah, the body's, you know, quite good. Missing a bit of paint here as well. Looks like it's got a HKS muffler. Wonder if it's got the full exhaust.
I wonder. Let's just say there's a few nice surprises underneath this car, but I'll get to that pretty soon.
The other thing that's cool is this car has a working immobiliser and central lock-in, so not bad.
Not bad.
Let me show you inside. I just locked the car.
Not bad.
So from first glance, the interior looks pretty good so far. These seats are really good for their age. You can see that the bolster's a bit worn, which is quite common, but compared to most Supra seats, these are in really good nick. A lot of them you see have like rips on this bolster. They're faded a lot more than these and, you know, probably got a lot more farts in them.
Oh, that's not going in.
But either way, you know, these are good seats. I'd personally really like to get the Recaros or, you know, something else that looks more modern that sort of hugs you nicely when you drive.
I know they say the camera adds 10 pounds, but I need all the support I can get.
You can see all the plastics are quite good. The dash section's way better than mine. Mine looks like garbage. You can see this one looks really good. I mean, you know, you got a few little scratches, that's not a big deal.
With a little bit of prep work and paint, these would be as good as new. And this center console is just in ripper condition for its age.
You would have seen that every bit that I haven't replaced so far, like these bits in mine, is completely scratched up. Everything is scratched. And you can see in this car, none of the plastics are scratched up. Not even a bit like that. That's just a scuff mark. This car's beautiful. The seats, these Supra seats usually get a rip on the top. This one's perfect. And the carpet looks really good. Really clean back here. I don't know about the front. Way better than mine. And the door cards. I mean, it's got a couple of marks here, but down here, where mine are completely ripped up, this only has like very, very minor marks. You can see a bit there, and that's it. It's got a few scuff marks. I think these would clean up, no problems. Check the other side. Yep, these door cards look pretty good here. Near enough to perfect, besides a couple of marks. Plastics are really good. The dash is nice and clean. Oh, and I've got to show you this book after. You won't believe what's in this book.
After having a really good read of that book, it made this situation even more baffling to me. But I need to show you the rest of the car so it all makes sense.
Let's get to the interesting bit. I've been dying to show you this bit. It looks like a pretty good turbo conversion to me, and I've done a few of them. Things could be done better, but this one's pretty good. Okay, so let me show you this conversion. Obviously, this is the GE version. So originally it was a factory non-turbo. They've converted it to turbo. I can see that they've got a 6-boost manifold, which, is quite pricey. It's not cheap.
Yep, definitely not cheap.
It's quite a good, reputable brand when it comes to aftermarket manifolds, especially for these cars. The turbo, I'm not sure of. The turbo is a, I can't even see that, hypergear. I don't know much about this turbo, but if I can find some more information about it, I'll put it on screen.
Okay, so it looks like it has a 0.7 compressor housing, 0.82 exhaust housing, and it's got a T3 flange.
I can see that it's got a Turbo Smart wastegate, and it looks like a custom fab dump pipe, and that would be wideband O2, I believe. So of course, with a wideband O2 sensor, it must have an aftermarket ECU. And I had a look at that earlier. It's actually got a Link Fury ECU. So I'm not that familiar with Link. I do know that they're a good brand. Me personally, I prefer Haltech because that's what I know about.
I've had a lot of good experiences with Haltech and wired up a lot of their ECUs into different cars. I don't doubt that a Link is very, very similar, and I'm totally open to learning something new.
So with this turbo conversion, they've removed the distributor cap and the ignition leads and put in individual ignition coils, which is a good upgrade to do. These particular coils look to be Yaris coils, which are quite common to do in the Supras. Another one I know of, which is also quite common, is people take the GDR coils and use those. So they're quite good. I can see over in this corner, it's also got a boost control valve, which will be controlled by the ECU as well. It's the way it should be done.
Just to clarify a little bit better, controlling the boost via the engine ECU and the boost controller allows for more accurate fuel maps, ignition timing, and it can also protect your engine from things like abnormal combustion that leads to engine failures. And the other added bonus is it allows for multiple tunes that can be changed on the fly. So that's pretty cool.
This Supra's also got an aeroflow intercooler. Looks like a decent size too. It's like 600 by maybe 300 by, it's quite thick. And then we get over to this side of the engine where I can see immediately that a lot of money's been spent. Oh, has it been spent here? And the first thing that stands out is this Plasma Man intake. This Plasma Man intake, I looked it up on eBay. You can buy it in a kit with the intake, the fuel rail, and I think it came with the Turbo Smart fuel pressure regulator. And it was like $3.5 grand. So whoever did this conversion did it properly. And I can see also that it's got fly-by-wire as well. So to me, it looks like a Bosch throttle body. And then obviously it's gonna have a pedal inside. When you change to a aftermarket intake on a GE, you have to actually change the location of the reservoir as well. So the original power steering pump reservoir would have been sitting here, and now it's off to the side over here. I can also see that this guy's got an aftermarket breather set up, which is really crucial when you're running a lot of boost through these motors. The engine's got to be able to breathe. And it's running flex fuel. So this thing has been tuned for E85 and 98, or whatever you guys use in the States or the UK. But over here, premium fuel's 98. Oh, and it's got the switch as well. So the ECU will be able to read very accurate fuel pressure. Let me show you under the car. Oh, one more thing before we go all the way up. Oh, this car has shockwork coilovers that are also adjustable. And I know that these coilovers are worth a pretty penny.
But that is nothing compared to what I was going to find under the car.
All right, let's just move that out of the way. Huh. Are they bigger than factory sway bars? They look like it. They're not factory sway bars. Usually the factory ones are black. Huh, gonna have to measure those. These were the first verniers I could find. Good old school non-digital. All right, what have we got? Is that 30 mil? I think that's bigger than factory. Huh, nice. I wonder what the rear looks like. 20 mils at the rear. Nice.
This car kept getting better and better.
It looks like all the intercooler piping is custom fab. That's cool. Yep, it's all custom fab. That's a bit dodgy, but what are you gonna do? Oh, screamer pipe. What? That looks like a new gearbox. I can't believe this thing has a brand new gearbox in it. I mean, it's a bit of a leaky boy. Probably coming from that extension housing seal. That's not a big deal. It's had the tail shaft reconditioned. Because it's not custom. I reckon he's had it balanced.
No, turns out it is custom. Not sure how, but I'll look into that.
You know, given how much money's been spent on this car,
And the fact that I picked it up for a song.
there's got to be something majorly wrong with this car.
So we're now at that point where the question has to be asked, does this car start? Well, let me show you.
Oh my God, it starts! Woo! Look at that. Oh my goodness. And I was so worried it wasn't gonna start. Crazy.
And now that we know it runs, it'd be wrong not to take it for a drive.
This thing is mad. Ooh, button clutch. Ready? Hear the boost. Whoa! Sorry, changing gears there. Yes! Oh, feels so good. Oh, yeah. All right. Here we go. Oh my God! Oh fuck, I love that. Oh, I'm only doing 10. Yeah, baby, that's right. She probably didn't care. So fucking old. Yeah, I was really surprised that it just started up. And I thought, you know what? When this thing warms up and the oil thins out, it's gonna have a rod knock for sure. And it warmed up, nothing knocked. And I thought, what the hell? Like, this guy has sold me a running car with a turbo conversion that he's obviously spent money on for 30K. I honestly thought that this guy was trying to stooge me. But that wasn't the case. And then, because when I went to look at it, I didn't actually spend a lot of time looking at it because firstly, it was in a dark garage. And then secondly, because, I just thought the seller didn't really care to sell it to me, or maybe he thought I wasn't a serious buyer, I don't know. And then I found this book. And I'm not going to show you everything in this book because it's got a lot of personal details. But reading through it, the guy's got the receipt from when he first bought it, and he did the timing belt and the tensioner and the water pump and all this sort of stuff, like general maintenance stuff, just after he bought it. So, to me, when someone does that, they really care about the car. They don't know the history much, or they don't want to take a chance, so they just get all the important stuff done. And this guy did. He got it all done. He did his own PPSR check, and like I did when I bought it, not written off, not stolen, no finance owing, all that. And he's kept all this. And then this guy spent money, $2,600 on these Shockworks coilovers. He's spent money on the roadworthy, obviously, when he got it. He's had it regularly wheel lined. Anyway, you get the point. He spent a lot of money on it. And then I get to the page towards the end, and I'll show you exactly what he's done. But the person who did this conversion has done a lot of work. And then they had it dyno tuned. And this was the most shocking thing to me. Well, it didn't really shock me that the power it made, but this car, and I don't know if you can see that there, this car on E85 makes 380.7 kilowatts at the rear wheels. Sometimes you just get a good deal, I guess. The honest truth is, after seeing all this, how good the engine conversion is, how neat the car looks, how good the body is, it's going to be really hard to pull this car apart.